Keisha Grant didn't order grocery delivery because it was trendy. She ordered it because it was the only way to keep her week from collapsing. Her father's recovery schedule was taped to the fridge: medications, low-sodium meals, hydration reminders, follow-up appointments. Keisha worked a full-time shift at a printing company and spent her evenings doing what she could to keep the house running without letting her dad see how exhausted she was. On Tuesday afternoon, she placed a simple order through Freshcart: chicken broth, vegetables, oatmeal, fruit, bottled water, and a few things her dad actually liked: ginger cookies and peppermint tea. Nothing fancy, nothing that deserved drama. Before she hit confirm, she checked every detail twice. Delivery instructions: please leave on the front porch bench. Do not block the door. Ring bell once. Tip: already added in the app. Keisha lived in a quiet neighborhood where porches had potted plants and people waved but didn't really know each other. Most of her neighbors were white. Most of the time that didn't matter. Sometimes it did. A little after 4 p.m., her phone buzzed. Your order is arriving. Driver name: Evan Dorsey. Keisha glanced at the window. The street looked calm, grey daylight soft over wet pavement from earlier rain. She went back to slicing carrots for her dad's soup. Then the doorbell rang. Hard, repeated, impatient. Not once, 3 times. Keisha paused with the knife in her hand. Her father, Darnell Grant, called weakly from the living room. You got it, baby? Yeah, Keisha answered, forcing brightness. She wiped her hands and went to the front door. When she opened it, she didn't see bags neatly placed on the bench like she'd asked. She saw them piled directly in front of the door, stacked in a way that made it hard to step out without knocking something over. One paper bag had already tipped, a carton of eggs half visible, cracked shells shining slightly, and taped to the top bag was a small white receipt slip with handwriting in thick black ink. Keisha peeled it off slowly. Maybe tip next time if you want special treatment. Her chest tightened, not because the note was clever, because it was mean in that casual way that assumed it would land without consequences. Keisha stared at the words, then immediately opened the app and checked her receipt again. Tip: $9. Delivery: confirmed. Drop-off: marked complete. She felt heat rise in her throat. Her first instinct was the same instinct she always had. Don't make a scene. Just fix the problem. Move on. Protect your peace. Then she looked at the eggs again. 2 were cracked. A third was leaking slightly into the cardboard. And she felt something else under the anger. That familiar, sick frustration of being treated like you're trying to get something for free when you've done everything right. Keisha bent down and carefully shifted the bags aside, stepping over them to fully open the door. She lifted the broken egg carton and set it on the porch rail, away from the rest. She brought everything inside, one bag at a time, jaw tight, moving slowly so she didn't spill anything else. Her father looked up from the couch, wrapped in a blanket. Everything okay? He asked. Keisha forced a smile. Yeah, she lied. Just a mess at the door. She didn't show him the note. She didn't want his blood pressure spiking because some stranger decided to be cruel. In the kitchen, she placed the note on the counter and stared at it like it might change if she blinked long enough. Maybe it was a mistake, she tried to tell herself. Maybe Evan wrote it for someone else. Maybe he forgot she tipped. But then she remembered the doorbell, the aggressive ringing, the bags blocking the door. The cracked eggs left like punctuation. It didn't feel like a mistake. It felt intentional. Keisha picked up her phone and opened the Freshcart chat support. A bot greeted her first. She typed past it in short, clean sentences. Driver left groceries blocking the door. Eggs cracked, also left a handwritten note accusing me of not tipping. Tip was included in the order. The bot asked for a photo. Keisha snapped pictures. The broken eggs, the bags positioned at the threshold, the note with the handwriting clearly visible. She uploaded them all. A moment later, a human support rep joined the chat. Melissa Kane, customer support. Hi Keisha, the message read. I'm sorry about your experience. I can refund the eggs and issue a credit. Keisha stared at the screen. Credit for eggs wasn't the point. She typed carefully, keeping her tone calm because she knew how easily calm women got labeled hostile the moment they sounded too firm. Thank you, but this is also about the note and behavior. I tipped. I followed instructions. I'm asking you to document the driver's conduct. There was a pause. Then, I understand. We'll escalate to our delivery team. Keisha's jaw tightened. Escalate was one of those words that sounded like action and often meant nothing. She looked at the note again and made a decision. Not a dramatic one, just a careful one. She walked to the living room and checked the small black doorbell camera mounted beside the frame. She'd installed it last year after a package went missing, and a neighbor suggested, maybe you should, be careful. Keisha hadn't liked the implication, but she'd installed the camera anyway. Now she opened the Ring app on her phone. There were 2 clips. 4:07 p.m. motion detected, 4:08 p.m. doorbell ring. Her thumb hovered for a second before she tapped the first one. The video loaded. She watched Evan Dorsey step onto her porch. White man, early 30s, baseball cap, delivery vest. He set the bags down quickly, then paused. He looked at the bench, clearly visible, exactly where she asked him to place the order. He glanced at it, then deliberately chose the spot in front of the door instead. Keisha's stomach tightened. She watched him pull a receipt slip from his pocket and scribble on it with a marker. He pressed the note onto the top bag like he wanted it to be the first thing she saw. Then he leaned close to the camera without realizing it was capturing audio clearly and muttered, not loud, but clear enough. Maybe next time she'll learn to tip instead of acting like she's owed everything. Keisha's throat went cold. She hit pause. Her fingers trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the shock of hearing the contempt spoken out loud like it was normal, like she was a type of person he'd already decided she was before he ever saw the tip amount. She didn't know yet what she was going to do with that clip. She only knew one thing for sure. Evan had left a cruel note, and the camera had recorded the truth behind it. Keisha sat at her kitchen table with the Ring clip paused on her phone, the frame frozen on Evan Dorsey as he leaned in to scribble that note. The house was quiet except for the low TV in the living room where her father dozed. The quiet felt fragile, like one wrong move could break it. She replayed the audio once more, just to be sure she'd heard it correctly. Maybe next time she'll learn to tip. Keisha exhaled slowly, forcing herself to stay grounded. She wasn't going to post something in anger. She wasn't going to start a war in a comment section. She needed a solution that protected her father, protected her peace, and still held Evan accountable. She opened the Freshcart support chat again and typed in a single line. I have doorbell camera video with audio of the driver admitting he intentionally blocked my door and falsely accused me of not tipping. The reply came faster this time. Melissa, I'm escalating this to a supervisor. Can you upload the video? Keisha clicked the upload link and attached the clip. She added one more message, calm and clear. I do not want revenge. I want this documented, and I want confirmation that this driver won't be assigned to my address again. Then she waited. 10 minutes later, her phone rang. A new voice came on, professional, steady. Hi, is this Keisha Grant? This is Owen Barrett, Delivery Operations Supervisor with Freshcart. Keisha stepped into the hallway so her father wouldn't hear. Yes, she said. First, Owen said, I'm sorry, I watched the footage. What the driver did and said is unacceptable. Keisha closed her eyes briefly, letting that acknowledgement land. Thank you, she said. Owen continued. Your tip was clearly on the order. The driver had no basis to accuse you, the note violates our conduct policy, and the deliberate placement blocking the door is a safety issue. Keisha's voice stayed level. It also cracked items, she said. Yes, Owen replied. We're issuing a full refund for the damaged items and a credit for the inconvenience. But more importantly, the driver has been suspended pending investigation. He will not receive assignments at your address, effective immediately. Keisha swallowed. I want that in writing, she said. You'll have it, Owen replied. Within the hour. Keisha's shoulders loosened slightly. Okay, she said. That's all I asked for. Owen paused. One more thing, he said. The driver claims he thought there was no tip. Keisha almost laughed, but she kept it controlled. He didn't just think it, she said. He said it on camera. He wrote it, and he chose to block the door even though the bench was right there. I agree, Owen said. The footage shows intent. That matters. When Keisha ended the call, she sat back at the table and stared at the note again. A small part of her wanted to rip it in half and throw it away. Instead, she put it in a drawer with the date written on the back. Not because she wanted to hold on to anger, but because she'd learned something over the years. People will rewrite what happened if they're allowed to. Paper and video don't rewrite themselves. An hour later, the email arrived. It confirmed the refund, the address block, and that the incident had been documented under driver conduct review. Keisha felt relief. Real relief, but it was mixed with a feeling she didn't like. The knowledge that if she hadn't had a camera, this would have been her word against his. And she knew how that usually went. That evening, after her dad ate his soup and went back to the couch, Keisha finally told him, gently, Dad, she said, sitting on the edge of the armchair. The delivery driver was rude today. Darnell frowned. Rude how? Keisha hesitated, then chose honesty without cruelty. He left a note accusing me of not tipping, she said, and he blocked the door with the bags. Darnell's face tightened. That's stupid, he said. It is, Keisha replied, but it's handled. They suspended him. Darnell watched her for a moment, then nodded slowly. Good, he said. I'm tired of people thinking they can talk to you any kind of way. Keisha's throat tightened. Me too, she admitted quietly. She thought that would be the end of it. But the next day, something changed. Freshcart posted a short internal safety update that got shared by local community pages. Nothing naming Keisha, nothing naming Evan. Just a general statement about door-blocking hazards, respectful conduct, and zero tolerance for harassment. It wasn't dramatic, but it was public enough to matter. Keisha read it twice and felt something shift from personal to systemic. Like maybe her complaint hadn't just protected her, it might protect someone else. Then Camille, no, that was the salon story. Different. Here, Keisha's friend Renee Tillman texted her a screenshot of the post. Renee, this about you? Keisha, yeah, I had video. Renee, good. Because this happens to people and they never get believed. Keisha stared at that message for a long time. And that's what pushed her to do one more thing. Not out of revenge, but out of protection. She didn't post the driver's face. She didn't post his name. She didn't tell the internet to go find him. She wasn't trying to unleash a mob. She posted a short video clip, cropped so it showed only the bags and the note being placed, with the audio slightly muffled but still understandable. And she added a calm caption. If you can, use a doorbell camera. Not to be petty, just to protect yourself. Some people will lie with confidence. Video doesn't. She removed any house number, blurred the app screen, and avoided anything that could identify her address. She kept it about the behavior, not a personal target. Then she posted it to her neighborhood group and a consumer awareness page. By that evening, it had been shared hundreds of times. People weren't celebrating cruelty, they were sharing stories. Drivers leaving items to melt on purpose, notes left to shame customers, deliveries blocked in ways that trapped elderly residents behind doors. Others chimed in with practical advice. Always check tip receipts, use the leave at bench note, report safety issues immediately. A local disability advocate shared the clip with a comment, "Blocking doors is not annoying, it's dangerous. People using walkers, wheelchairs, or carrying oxygen tanks can't step over bags. This matters." That's when the post really spread, not as drama, but as a lesson. Freshcart's official account commented under the consumer awareness share, They reiterated the safety policy and confirmed that reports with video evidence are taken seriously. They didn't name Keisha, they didn't name Evan, but they publicly acknowledged the issue and reinforced consequences. Keisha watched the comment thread and felt something unfamiliar, a sense that the internet, for once, was doing something useful. 2 days later, Owen Barrett called again. "Ms. Grant," he said, "I wanted to update you. The driver has been terminated from our platform. The footage and written note were decisive. Also, we're adding a new required training module specifically about door placement and respectful communication." Keisha swallowed. "Okay," she said quietly. And, Owen added, "we're pushing a product change. The app will prompt drivers to confirm they followed delivery placement instructions with a photo that includes the drop spot. It won't solve everything, but it's a step." Keisha exhaled slowly. "That's good," she said. After the call, she stood in her doorway and looked at the porch bench. Still there, still simple, still exactly where she'd asked the bags to go. The happy ending wasn't that Evan lost his job. Keisha didn't feel joy about anyone losing income. The happy ending was that Evan couldn't hide behind a false story. He couldn't claim no tip when the receipt and the app contradicted him. He couldn't claim accident when the camera showed intent. And because of that, a company had to take a safety issue seriously and change how it operated. Keisha's post didn't go viral because it was messy. It went viral because it was careful, factual, and useful. And in a world where cruelty often gets excused as just a bad day, a quiet Ring camera turned it into something stronger than outrage. A lesson people could actually learn from and share to keep someone else safe.